Hi, hello, I'm Max and today I'm going to be doing a little video about this little bundle of joy here called the Weber Minimass 50. Like most people who love the valve amps, I have two valve amps. One is a questionable valve amp. It is a Line 6 DT25, but it's got the BOGNER stamp on it, and it has valves in it, so we're going to call it a valve amp for the sake of argument. And the other is an Attenuator Tweaker 15. Both fantastic amps, they truly are. However, both very loud. So I needed something, above all, that was cheap to control this and be able to let me get the sounds I'm after, but at a usable volume, like we'd have all come across this same issue. Rather than run straight out and buy a Boss Katana, I thought I'd see if I could combat that another way. So I had a look into it, and what I found was this, the Weber Minimass 50, and it was £90 used on eBay. Everything I do is pretty much on a budget. Everything's second hand, apart from the guitars. And yeah, so like a lot of people, I have to try and be as clever as I can. So I bought this to knock some volume down so I could get those tube tones. Unbeknown to myself at the time, it's not a one-trick pony. It can do an awful lot more than that. So let's take a quick look and see what it does. So first off, it's an attenuator, obviously. So over here you've got the impedance, which is, you can have it either set to 8 ohms, 16 ohms or 4 ohms, which is pretty good because I noticed on the 2 notes Torpedo captor you can either buy one that's 4 ohms, one that's 8 ohms or one that's 16 ohms, which I dare say that most amps can switch between, so it's not a huge deal. But I thought it was a good thing for such a cheap bit of kit. There's normal and bypass, so it's either turned on or in normal, attenuating. And then you've got the potentiometer over here, which you can have it cranked right up or cranked right down. Now there is also, when you have it, give you a chord. Hopefully that's not copyrightable by Bon Jovi or anyone. That's on 7. So the amp's cranked up there. I've got a clean sound and some reverb, and it's not quite a clean sound actually. There's a reverb delay and a bit of other modulation on there, but it sounds nice. I like it. So that's with the amp normal. Now if I put that on bypass, that's too loud for a residential area really. So I'm going to flick that over to normal, and then I've got it at 7 over here, so let's turn it up 4-way, and then so you can pretty much take it down about halfway before you start losing some of your top end. Now Weber say that they don't believe you actually do lose your top end. They believe that it's more to do with how your ear perceives the sound as it drops down. But to try and help with that, they have put on a Treble Boost circuit, which will give you either 3 dB or 6 dB, or obviously if it's just in the middle, it's no boost at all. So let's just. It gets very bright there. Where that comes in more useful is, and I will say this, whilst it is very good at dropping the volume down, once you get it to below a certain point, it's only so effective. So when you do get it to below that point, so let's drop it down. Let's pop it down there. Okay, and let's give it a 6 dB boost. So it's still usable there. When you're using game with it, not so much, gets a little bit fizzy, but yeah, like I say, if you fancy playing some Bon Jovi, that's gonna be really good. But in these circumstances, I thought to myself, oh well, it's okay, it does the job, yada yada. And then a friend of mine, Sig, said, "Has that got a line out on it?" I said, "Yeah, it has." And he said, "Get 2 notes wall of sound, Torpedo wall of sound, on your DAW." And hello me, that's very amateurish, isn't it? But we've gone quite a way into it now, so let's leave it where it is. It's fine. So. So put it up on your DAW, which I will pop that down now because I've got this up here. and then just load it in a track, and then you'll be able to do this. Now, before I do this, you won't be able to hear this because you'll only hear the amp. Although it does give a pleasing stereo kind of vibe. Yeah, anyway, so I digress. But, so I thought to myself, well, that's good, that's really good. So how can I use that without using a speaker? So if you go onto the Weber website, there's actually, it's really good, they make you click a thing that said you have read and understood the terms and of using one of these and how to use it before you can actually buy it. So there is potential to mess up your kit if you're not careful, or lucky. So yeah, so do watch out for that. But what you can do, because this isn't a heatsink like a lot of other ones at that sort of price point, this has actually got a speaker motor in it. So for all intents and purposes, the amp still believes that it's connected to a speaker because it is. So what you can do at this point is you turn that right down and you then remove. That's it. Now we have an amp with no speaker, no actual speaker load on it. It's just going straight into this here box. And remember, this was £90 and you can do this, okay? And now, instead of using that to attenuate the sound down, we're still using the valves, we're still using the pedal board, we're still using all our stuff. We now have going through the monitors, and we're just record monitoring on, and that's a very usable sound, and it works really well even with the drive and things like that. So you can, you know, you're only dictated to by as much as the, you know, what your level's going to go to. So, you know, that's still a bit loud even for that. But so knocking that back halfway, bring that down. Yeah, nice, usable, using all the kit, not having to buy VSTs or do anything else. Just one little box that does a few things. I'm not saying that it's the best at everything it does, but I've never used any other one, so I've got nothing to compare it to. I would like to have a look at the 2 notes captor because I'm so impressed with the wall of sound cabinets, the impulse responses, that I just think it's really good stuff. So I think that will be on the cards at some point soon. So yeah, without sort of going too much into detail on the rest of it, it's a nice little setup. Just one further thing before I do stop babbling is some kind wonderful man made it so that if you use a MIDI cable into the back of your Line 6 DT25, you can actually control it all from this wonderful little program you made with all the MIDI codes in it. So you're able to select your amp type. So, you know, to give you a little list, you've got a Blackface Double Vibe, Highway 100, Super O, Gib Tone 185, a Tweed Bluesman Normal, Tweed Bluesman Bright, and a good 20 other amp types in there that Line 6, and Line 6 modelling's good, it was just their hardware that wasn't good, which is fixed kind of now because they've been bought and they're in partnership with Yamaha, who do make good stuff. So, you know, I think the Spider amps and whatnot just gave them a bit of a bad reputation for a little while, but it's not. The software and the programming is genius. It was just the execution of the manufacturing which really let them down. But you know, they've taken steps to sort that out. And I will say to anybody thinking about getting a cheap tube amp that can do a lot, it's really good. I think you can pick them up brand new from Anderton's for around £400. So really worth considering, and especially with that. I could use the line out on the amp, but then you're only using the modelling section. So I want it to go through the power section where you get the lovely valviness. So to do that, you'd need to use a Loadbox. But you can just use the amp from line out into your interface, and it just uses the modelling part of the amp only rather than using the power section. So yeah, there's a lot of info there. But I'm going to cut it short just to just to sort of say, you know, I hope you get the gist of what this can do, and a little bit of the, you know, DT edit, and a good way of being able to use your tube amp at reasonable volumes just through your monitors and whatnot, without buying loads of expensive software and VSTs and everything like that. So I hope this has been of some use, and if it has, drop a comment. If it hasn't, drop a comment. Any tips, hints, or anything you do with yours, anything that I'm missing out that you think would be of help, please let me know. I'm really interested to hear. And yeah, if this has been any help to you at all, like and subscribe. I'll do it over the top. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye. Is this still on?